Hey guys, welcome back to Football by Rob. It's Rob here. I'm gonna do a quick video where we preview the semi-finals of the World Cup and also go through a couple of recent transfer news stories that have just broken. Before I get into the details, if you like the stuff, just consider subscribing, sharing the videos. Maybe you can leave a comment as well if you agree or disagree with anything I have to say. And yeah, let's get started. So the semi-finals of the World Cup are set, and it's France versus Spain in the first semi-final in Dallas, I believe, and then you have England and Argentina in the second semi-final. And this is probably what FIFA were dreaming about at the start of the tournament. That's probably why they did their whole seeding process as well. Otherwise, this outcome would not have been possible. And on paper, these are going to be probably two of the most high-profile semi-finals in a World Cup setting since what all the way back since what 1990 probably, when you had every team that was going up for the title was a world champion already. And I think it's going to be a really interesting outcome. If I look at it from the France point of view, I think they have done what I expected of them thus far. I mean, in my tournament predictions, also, I had France getting to the semifinals. However, what I did not foresee was the team having such amazing chemistry and playing all for each other. And I'll be honest, I was a bit worried about how, Mbappe's ego would gel with everybody, given the fact that, he had not been um, winning as much at club level for the last 2 years. Plus, that coinciding with the fact that you had the PSG core of this French team actually enjoying this unprecedented level of success. So I was worried that the team dynamics might, take a hit. But I have to give credit where it's due. I think this team has played amazingly well. They're all playing for each other. I see all three of them tracking back. I remember during the earlier stages of the tournament, I was worried about this two-man midfield between Rabiot and Kone, or Rabiot and uh, Chouameni, or even N'Golo Conte, even though he's not got a minute in this year's tournament. But I was genuinely concerned that when we came up against a top team which had that extra player in midfield, and especially when you come up against a technical team like Spain, there's always that possibility that you're going to get undone. But I'll have to be honest and just hold my hat up to these boys. They've been amazing. The work rate that I have seen Doué, Olise, Dembele put in has just been phenomenal, and it has been so effective that Mbappe has actually been given more freedom than we had in 2022. And yeah, I mean, I just don't see a way we uh, don't make a proper competition out of this semifinal, because unlike the 2024 game, we are coming in on a high. We've been playing well throughout the tournament. It's not like we've been scraping past into each round like we were doing in that tournament. And everybody just looks so settled. They look so together. You see the players every time they score, they're running over to the bench, everybody celebrating together. There are no people throwing tantrums. I mean, I remember there were some stories earlier about Didier Deschamps and Turkey having a fallout or something, but all that's been put to bed really quickly, and none of it has been allowed to fester and ferment. Instead, what you've got is this amazing team chemistry and team spirit. And I mean, the stats just speak for themselves. If we just go to the World Cup stats, I mean, France, they have arguably the best World Cup player by the time his career is done. Kylian Mbappe will be the best World Cup player of all time. And they also just happen to have the current reigning Ballon d'Or holder. They have Michael Olise, who's been creating like nobody's business. I mean, some of the passes that I've seen this boy play is just crazy. It's just wild. But on the other side, we can't, you know, take too lightly the opponents as well, the European champions. One of the best defensive teams and defensive records in the entire tournament. And yes, maybe they haven't been as convincing. And if you see some of their games, they weren't able to, put their foot on the opponent's neck and finish them off. But one thing I'll give this Spanish team is they never know when they're beaten. And recent history does lie with them. They have beaten us in the last two times over the last 2 years. The semi-final in Germany, as well as the Nations League semi-final as well, right? So we need to be really wary of them. We need to ensure that we can keep Lamine Yamal quiet. I'm worried about Lamine Yamal taking on Luka Dean, to be honest. So I want to see how Deschamps actually prepares for that battle. Due can also, double up and help out, but you also have to remember that you have a marauding fullback like Pedro Porro who loves getting beyond the second man to put balls in. So I'm concerned about this. Whether we get to see Alex Baena here or it's going to be Nico Williams, that also remains to be seen. But I'm not that concerned because I think the physicality of Kone and Kunde on this side can be enough to deal with these people. The main issue is going to be coming from Yamal. It's going to come from Oyazabal. It's going to come from Dani Olmo. It's going to come from Rodri finding passing lanes from this sort of area. So that's my main concern. But if we can play the way we have been playing, I don't see a reason why we shouldn't be able to get a win against such a good Spanish side. I agree that they're really good, but we are no slouches either. In the second semi-final, we have England versus Argentina. Now, this again is another timeless classic in terms of the World Cup. Ever since the 1986 game, where you had Maradona scoring the hand of God goal and then also scoring that amazing solo run going on an Ankara Messi way before Messi existed. And then since then, I think there was one in '98 as well when Beckham got sent off for Diego Simeone for an altercation with him. Then you had the 2002 group stage game. I remember that clearly, which David Beckham scored a penalty in absolutely anticlimactic game. And I think the penalty came right around the stroke of halftime, if I wasn't mistaken. We watched it at school as kids. So there's a lot of bad blood between these two teams. They haven't played each other since 2005, if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be interesting to see. Now, if you look at both of their runs to the World Cup final, to the World Cup semi final, sorry, it has been relatively tame. They've Yeah, England have played what Congo. They scraped through, and I think Congo could have beaten them. Johan Visa had a shot that went off the upright in the first half. Mexico again, that was another tough game. Could have easily gone Mexico's way, especially at the Azteca. But Jude Bellingham inspired them. And again, versus England, it was Jude who's made the difference. Although I feel that Norway have every right to be aggrieved and feel hard done by based on all the evidence that we've seen, with that ball hitting the spider cam wire and stuff like that. And this is why I'm just always going to be skeptical about FIFA and how they can get the sneakometer to jump when there's a hair touching it, but they can't get any reading on the ball when it literally hits a wire. So I don't know, but I just hope from this point on there aren't any dubious questioning or officiating circumstances, because it'll just take away from the spectacle. On paper, we have the potential to have probably the best ever World Cup in terms of drama, in terms of narratives, in terms of the way we've seen underdogs teams flourish. We've seen big hitters be on the brink of defeat and come back, and we've seen scintillating football. We've seen I'm a French fan, so I'm biased, but I'll say we've probably seen with this French squad, even if they don't win the tournament, they are going to be the cultural, imprint on so many young footballing fans who are just uh, finding out about the sport, who are just being immersed into the beauty of the game. And it's similar to what kids of my era we saw with Brazil. And yeah, I mean, I was a France fan from being a child, but I remember my granddad tried to get me to watch Brazil and support them once France got knocked out of the 2002 World Cup. And even though I didn't do that, I couldn't help but admire the way they played, that flair that they had, the that carefree attitude with which they played, that nonchalance. And I won't be surprised if 15, 20 years down the line we are going to have a bunch of people who are mid 20s to early 30s, and they are all going to say, I became a football fan because of that French team, or I saw Dembele do this crazy thing, or I saw Olise make these crazy passes, and I saw Mbappe just absolutely go into some next level beast mode mentality when he sees the World Cup lights turn on. And I just don't want any off-field shenanigans to take away from all of these things. There are already so many. I mean, this World Cup is probably one of the most problematic ones in my lifetime, easily. But then, has there ever been any World Cup without problems? We never know. But yeah, I just hope this doesn't taint the spectacle. We'll see how it goes. I won't be surprised if England actually beat Argentina in this game, because I'll be honest, Argentina haven't appeared to be that convincing to me thus far, at least. They have been very close to being knocked out on multiple occasions. They've had decisions go their way, rightly or wrongly. I know there were a lot of people who are mad about the Switzerland game as well, but I think there is people are just making a mountain out of a molehill in that one. Yes, you can talk about some of the decisions in the Cabo Verde game and the Egypt game, but that red card that what's his name, Breel Embolo got, I think that's a completely valid red card, and they have changed the rules whereby you are allowed to now go and check and retroactively change yellow cards if they have been wrongfully awarded. So props to the referees and the officiating team for doing that. Just be consistent. And I know they're not probably going to be the officiating team in the next game, but this is for FIFA on the whole. If you can't be consistent, your uh, tournament loses whatever importance that it has. And I don't think that's going to help them in the long run. Yeah, that's where I am. That's where I'm at. Yeah, then we'll see what happens in the final. But so far, I won't be surprised if France beats Spain. I don't want to like jinx it or anything, but I expect France to beat Spain. But it won't be easy. No, it won't be a walk in the park. It's going to be hard. We have to stay switched on. We can't lose focus. We can't allow somebody like a Mikel Merino to come off the bench and do us right in the death. So let's see. We need to take our chances early. We need to make sure that we can start with a high intensity and kill the game off as soon as we can. I know Kylian Mbappe is not going to even know that I exist, but Lord, I beg you, please, just tell him to stop doing these stutter step penalties, man. I think we should outlaw them altogether from the sport. It's done now. I mean, it used to be cool when Neymar was doing it till the rule change happened, and Jorginho was doing it till he got found out against Macedonia and stuff like that. But now I think we have passed that era, because now I think the keepers are also smart enough and well trained enough to decipher these and telegraph these sort of moments. So it doesn't help. Just put your laces through the ball, man. Just stop doing all this woke shit. Yeah, that's about it. I'm also gonna just discuss two quick transfer news stories that have broken. I mean, this we knew was going to happen, but now it's confirmed. Leandro Trossard to Besiktas. Here we go. Deal approved right now. He's confirmed it. He was in the World Cup up until the last round. They just got eliminated. Arsenal received 18 million plus 2 million add-on. Terms already accepted. Trossard will be going to Istanbul tomorrow night for the medical and contract signing. I'm just sad that we never got to give him a proper goodbye. I hope he manages to come for a game and he's felicitated before the game or during halftime or something like that, because he really deserves it. A completely unselfish player who came to us at a time when we had appeared to just have fumbled a really important transfer, what seemed like an important transfer to us at that point in time. I still remember this in the winter of the 2022-23 season, and Leandro Trossard completely, changed the entire mood in the club and in the fan base right from the moment he signed. And I still remember a lot of amazing moments from him: goals against Aston Villa, goals away at Old Trafford, goals away at Everton, the goals in the North London derby, him putting Pedro Porro on his backside. There's so many amazing memories. The pass for the goal against Bayern in the Champions League. Uh, he was just amazing, so clutch, so amazing, and all culminating with that West Ham goal. So it's just, I mean, I don't know. Words will not be enough for me to express my gratitude to him. Yeah, this moment. this moment. Even if he never scored another goal and it was just this goal, that would be enough for him to be a cult hero for me. Right up there with people like Rosicky, Cazorla, and everybody. I know Cazorla, Rosicky, they haven't won the league or been that clutch like this, maybe in a title race, but right up there with me, with them for me, in terms of players that I have a really special place in my heart for. Always, I have this white jersey, but I have my name on it. But when I see this, every time I see this, all I can think of is Leo Trossard banging that ball into the bottom corner at the London Stadium. It's just beautiful, just beautiful, and I'm always going to be indebted to him. What a lovely young man. Amazing, amazing, beautiful. I sincerely hope he can come back and we give him a proper farewell. And I sincerely hope that. And the other major transfer that happened yesterday. So Andre Santos, United have already confirmed, but out of nowhere, and I mean this totally caught everybody by surprise. Youri Tielemans has agreed to sign for Man United, and United apparently activated a 41 million euro clause in his contract. Aston Villa apparently had been trying to get him to sign a new deal for a while now, but he's apparently made up his mind. He's going to Man United, and I mean Aston Villa picked him up on a free after Leicester got relegated. It so that was a solid deal on their part. He is an integral part to their midfield, and especially now that you look at the fact that Amadou Onana is out with an ACL injury, picked up an ACL injury for Belgium in the World Cup. So I think Villa will also need to move around in their midfield as well, given the fact that they're playing Champions League. So it won't be easy for them. Where does this impact Arsenal's ability to get Morgan Rogers out of their club? That also remains to be seen. But I think this is excellent business by Man United. Excellent, excellent business. In a market where you have Mateus Fernandez going for 85 million, and you have Sandro Tonali going for 100 million. This is extremely shrewd business. He's Premier League proven. He's still got some years in his legs. I feel what he's 29, if I'm not mistaken. So easily he can get 2 or 3 years out of him, provided he stays injury free. Tillemans does have a record of being a bit injury riddled at times, so that remains to be seen how the United medical department deal with him. But on the whole, this is a massive, massive coup, and Man United should be extremely happy. They've walked away from this Edison deal apparently after a slew of multiple medicals that basically hinted at the fact that Edison was not going to be fit enough, or at least that's what I've read. I don't follow United that fastidiously to know better, but yeah, I think Tielemans is a really good signing. I remember wanting Arsenal wanting to buy him way before he went to Leicester. I think he was with some Dutch club at that point in time, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, let's check it actually. Hold on. Yeah, my bad. So it wasn't Dutch club; it was Monaco. I probably mistook that. So yeah, solid move for Man United, and I think their midfield build is coming up really well. Although I have already seen some people come out and say stuff like uh, United have the best midfield in the league already with Andre Santos and Tillemans and Bruno, even though the three of them haven't played a minute together. But um, it's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, I guess. We'll see how they actually gel out. On paper, it really does seem like a good signing because I feel that Tielemans can play in this middle sort of role. I'll just use the tactics board here. So Tielemans can play in this sort of an area, and if or maybe we'll just use this as Tielemans. So this can be Bruno, and Bruno can move forward here, and you have a creator here, and that in turn frees Bruno up, so he doesn't have to come back and create from here. I think they have a really really good chance of making this work, but it will all depend on whether Yuri Tielemans can stay healthy, stay injury free, and let's see. But that's been it, guys. I'll leave it right there. Let me know your thoughts. If you're a United fan, how excited are you about Tielemans? If you're an Arsenal fan watching this, share your favorite memory of Leo Trossard. I bet all of us are going to be missing him, especially Anne Hathaway. Well, that's been it, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And if you want to check out my artwork, I'll leave a link in the description. Cheers. Peace out.